Hi, so in this video I will show how to fix mesh with issues, and this is one of the building I got from one of the RayFire plugin user. And so let's try to fragment it using RayFire shader. And first I will try to fragment it using editor mode. So it was fragmented. But now let's take a look at fragments, and as you can see, fragments has no inner surface. A lot of fragments has no inner surface, and some fragments has, but if I will rescale, here you can see that some triangles were missing. So obviously this is not what you want to get. There's some problems here, and there's absolutely no chance to fragment such object in runtime. You will get this set input mesh failed warning. Now let's take a look at this mesh. So here's this building in 3ds Max, and I already noticing some problems with normals, and if I will convert it to edit poly and then go to element level, here you can see that this surface here has this double face. So this is one of the problem. Another problem is that it consists of this kind of blocks. So this is one block, this is another one, and as you can see they interpenetrate with each other, and every block has this side element here, and as you can see it also has double face. So when I'm rotating I see this flickering, and it's not a good idea to have double faces in game, even if you don't want to demolish them, but this is another problem we will need to fix. And the biggest problem is that all surfaces are not connected with each other. So I can select almost every polygon, and as you can see it's not connected. All this balcony, even this small triangles, they are not connected. And again, here you can see that it has another problem with double face. For some reason it has different faces here, but then there's one big triangle overlap them. And the same with the roof. Every few triangles separated from the rest of the elements. So let's start fixing these problems. And first thing I will do is I will separate all these uh, blocks by logically, which means I want to have separate roof, separate balcony, separate entrance. In this way it will be much easier to fix them. Okay, the problem is that now I have these polygons here. Okay, now I'll detach it in different object. And this balcony as well. So I will hide these objects for now. Also, as you can see, there are these kind of blocks, they repeat each other, which means it's not reasonable to fix every block. I want to have just one, and then I will copy it for the rest. Instead of fixing every block, I will fix only one, and then we'll copy it. So again, I will I guess I will simply delete. So let me create a copy. So here's my one simple block here. And now I will delete these blocks here. Well, I guess that's it. So here are my basic building blocks of this building. And first, let's start with this first one. I will isolate it. And well, I can move it in Unity and try to fragment again, but I will basically get the same because all the issues still there. So I guess there's another problem I didn't notice. Again, some kind of double face. Okay, another double face. Also, if you will go to vertex level, you will see that it has all this isolated vertices, which I have after deleted all the fragments. So let's git here remove isolated vertices, but you can delete them on your own. And another problem is that I see here some problem with window normals. This is also something I want to check. So again, you can see seems like there are two faces and they overlap, and I actually don't see why it's made that way, but well, let's fix this as well. I will detach them as well. And if you want to demolish them right, I guess I will need to add some thickness. I will use shell modifier. So let's fix this here. So now this window has some volume. Okay, now let's get back to this block. And first let's weld all the vertices, because for now, as I said before, all its surface is not separated, it's not connected to each other. I can select every surface and detach, so it's not a good idea to fragment such object. So I will select all vertices and then weld them with lowest value possible. And as you can see here, it says 240, and after it says 82. Now I will go to element level, and in this case you can see it selects whole object as one solid element, which means now all surfaces connected and have closed volume. Also, you can go to border level and try to select open edges, but as you can see, nothing's selected, which means there are no open edges right now. And all this block is just one solid surface with closed volume. And I already can actually, let me attach its windows. So let's try to test this block in Unity. So here you can see that it was fragmented and it has all the inner surface, which means, well, there's no any problem right now with this mesh. And let's try to test it in runtime mode. And again, as you can see, everything is fine. It was fragmented. Let's even try to demolish it in runtime. Okay, you see that it was demolished in runtime without any problems. So it means that we fixed this block. And as you can see, it didn't take too much time. So let's get back to 3ds Max and fix other blocks, just like this one. Let's get this one first. And again, I think there's the same problem with this windows. Just want to make sure there is no double faces here. Okay, this one looks weird. So this is one of the double faces I see here. Let's add shell for this one as well. Okay, now let's remove all isolated vertices and weld them. Now let's check how many elements it has. Okay, so here one of the double face I missed. Okay. So this is why we actually shouldn't weld all the vertices. We need to separate these building blocks as well. And again, some double faces. So now let's combine them into one solid element. Now I can see I have this one element here and this one solid element here. So again, let's connect them back. And now we can test this block as well in Unity. And here's some issue I see here. So as you can see, the bottom element was fragmented well, but there are some problems with upper one. For some reason it has this face here is missing. So let's take a look in 3ds Max. Okay, block 2 is okay, and block 3. So as you can see, it's also okay, but I guess it has some problems when connected with this block because the faces, this one and this one, overlapped, and it looks like there are double faces. So maybe we should connect them with each other in 3ds Max. So now I combined these two blocks into one, and as you can see, it's just one element. Or you could just have some gap between these two surfaces, but I just wanted to solve this problem this way. And let's try to test this one. So here you can see I have open edge here still. Okay, this is what happens. Okay, now finally you can see that it fragments again without any issues because open edge is closed and all vertices were welded. Runtime mode also works fine. Oh, forgot to turn on demolition. Okay, now you can see it fragments well again. Yes, we can now combine now these two blocks here. As you can see, they interpenetrate with each other, so maybe we can change it somehow by doing this. But again, now you can see that I have these double faces here. If I will attach all them together, I will have a bunch of double faces here inside this one.
So let's select all of them.
Okay. Uh-huh. Seems like I have double faces somewhere inside. Okay. Now let's fix this roof. Well, almost every surface here has its double for some reason. I don't know why. Well, I guess I won't fix this one. Just will take too much time. I don't know why it has a double face for every triangle here. But you got the idea how to fix this kind of problems. It's the same, just like this building. So now we can see that the subject demolishes in runtime. All fragments has inner surface. So this is why it's a good idea to model your object which you want to demolish, knowing all these issues you may have later. So you won't need to spend your time on fixing all of them. But again, if you want to demolish your game at runtime, you have to be sure that they have no any problems, because if original object has some problem, then fragments will have some problem, and if fragments has some issues, then Unity may crash when rigid body component applied. Very rare case, but it happens. So this is why we made this runtime mode so sensitive. But in case you want to just pre-fragment your object, you can use editor mode. And again, just as I said in the previous video, some of the problems we will fix them, so you won't need to fix them on your own. But in any case, it's a good idea to have nice and clean geometry from the scratch, because you need to fix them just once, and then you will be sure that they will produce nice and clean fragments, instead of having problems every time when you fragment mesh with some kind of issues. So another thing I want to show you, as you can see, let me set here amount of fragments, some crazy amount, let's say 150. And obviously it will freeze for some time because just too much fragments. But I can use, just want to show you how to fragment such objects without freeze. So first thing, you can set here runtime caching. I will set it by fragments per frame, maybe one fragment per one frame. Also, I will go to reset and set here deactivate to reset, and we use fragments. So first time your object will be demolished, it will take some time because it will cache by one fragment every frame, and then it will demolish it finally. But if I will reset my object next time, let's say you reload your game, and also just want to show you, since you create by one fragment per frame, sometimes point cloud point from this point cloud which generate all the fragments will lay outside of the mesh, so this point won't produce any fragment. In this case, you will see here this message warning that you didn't get any mesh from this batch. So don't panic, this is not an error, just a message, it's okay. So now it will start caching all the fragments. Sometimes it won't produce fragments, but after all it will be demolished. And now we can reset your object, and all the fragments uh, now you can see that I just reset my object, but all the fragments still here. They were not deleted, so you can reuse them.
And in this case, demolition will be instant. In this way, you can demolish your object in runtime for other fragments. So I guess that's it with mesh fixing issues. Let me know if you will have other problems. We will fix them over time. But for now, you need to be aware of them and to make sure that your object has no this kind of problems for now. Okay, thank you for watching.